Sisters, we are not crazy. NYU has just done a study that showed that depression appears differently in Black women, which is why it is often very hard to catch. And here are some of the symptoms that we exhibit that may not show up in other people. So on top of your regular depressive symptoms, Black women, they found, often show things like fatigue, insomnia, decreased libido, and then on top of that, self-blame and self-hate. And that was one of the things when they did a couple controlled studies, they found to be the marked difference is that while most people with depression feel that hopelessness and that loss of motivation, Black women on top of that feel self-blame and self-hate. So not only are you suffering from the depression, but then you have kind of a self-imposed and internalized blaming going on and shaming yourself and being angry with yourself for experiencing the depression, which can make it feel like an even heavier blanket than it already is. And one of the other things I found interesting about the study is that it also reported that depression can show up as irritability in Black women. We know from a previous video that I did and some other research that anxiety can show up that way for us too. And also I found this interesting. They found that Black women with depression exhibited an inability to experience pleasure more than other races of women in the study. And I found that very, very interesting because I'm not here to get up in your business, but I talked to a lot of Black women, and a lot of women are disconnected from their sexuality in the way that they don't feel like they're fully able to experience pleasure in the way they should be. And I find it interesting that this study has linked that to depression. And I also think it's interesting because you probably have heard, as many of us have talking to our girlfriends, women in long-term relationships where, oh, she's always tired, she never wants to sleep with me, and it becomes a relationship issue when that could actually be a symptom of depression. So I love that we're starting to get some backing and some representation in psychological studies, because I do believe that Black women have a different level of need. And maybe it's not a different level of need, we need specific care. And so I am very excited that we're starting to see the psychology industry and field do specific research to support us. And of course, as I find out more stuff, I'm gonna share it with y'all besties. So drop down in the comments, let me know if you have experienced this or observed it in any of your sisters. Let's talk about it.
One thing I wish the Black men specifically talked more about is how we seek comfort in cages. And I know I'm gonna lose a lot of you to this video, but I want you to stick around and understand and listen to what I'm going to tell you. See, as Black men, we've learned to survive by controlling what we can, right? So hustle culture, daydreams, gym obsession, ghosting, being your meat, right? These things give us the illusion of control, right? They don't ask us questions. They don't ask us to be vulnerable. They don't disappoint us, right? But they don't give back what they take either. We call them outlets, but over time, what do they become? They become our identities. They become our personalities, right? Not joy, not healing, but habits dressed up as a personality. This is what happens when coping feels like control. Because let's keep it real. A lot of Black boys are born into silence. Our fathers didn't speak their hearts. Our uncles showed love through distance or critique. Our communities taught us how to survive and not feel, so we adapted to those circumstances, right? Some of us filled that silence with books, some of us with sex, others with weed, some even with anime, capitalism, religion, or aesthetics. Doesn't matter what it was. We didn't pick it for joy. We picked those things for shelter. And we confused the shelter for self, right? So this is what happens when we inherit silence and then customize it. Here's the crazy twist. Just because something feels good doesn't mean it's good for you. But we're masters at justifying that, right? I need this to unwind. It inspires me. This is how I love, right? That's not how we're supposed to work, man. A lot of what we call agency is really just avoidance in disguise. And nobody tells us that because we look like we've got it all together. This is what happens when pleasure isn't peace. Because let me ask you this, Black man. Have you ever been alone for so long that your coping started to feel like a connection? ChatGPT feels better than a real conversation. YouTube feels safer than your friends and family. Silence starts to feel like safety. But what it all really is starvation, right? You think you're healing in isolation, but really you're just rehearsing your pain on loop. This is what happens when isolation tricks you into thinking that you're okay. And the wild part about all this is the world rewards our numbness to a degree, right? You stay quiet, they call you stoic. You isolate yourself, oh, he's low key. You intellectualize your pain, oh, he's deep. But deep down, you're just comfortably numb, right? You think, this is just who I am. I like being alone. But the real question that a lot of Black men fail to ask ourselves is, What would you be if you weren't trying to protect yourself every second? See, the cost of silence is everything. The consequences of living a lifestyle that revolves around numbness is they don't show up all at once. They creep in. So first, you stop trusting real love. Second, you can't finish what you start. Third, you choose people who feel safe because they never challenge you, right? And before you know it, your comfort zone is a prison cell. And the scariest part about all of it is you can't even tell when it happened. It's like emotional carbon monoxide. It's quiet, it's invisible, but it's deadly. But here's the hard truth that I personally had to admit to myself recently. A part of me got used to that pain, right? It became a structure for me. Nobody stayed, but that fantasy did. Nobody understood me, but them crash outs, the music, the weed, the silence, all that stuff understood me. So I held on to those things, right? Because at least it felt like something to me. But here's the real escape. It's not about leveling up. It's not about growing up. It's not about even being better. It's about being honest with ourselves. I'm talking about spiritually honest, emotionally honest, radically honest. When I mean honest, I mean saying things to ourselves like, this version of me is just pain that adapted. This pleasure is just trauma that wants to be held. This peace I claim is just avoidance with a nice name, right? And when you say those things, when you get that real with yourself, that's when the question becomes clear. Do I keep protecting my pain, or do I start protecting my healing?
Yo, what's cracking, man? How's it hanging, guys? I'm Mari back at it, and welcome to the channel where we talk about real issues that hit close to home, especially for the Black diaspora and our communities. As we've seen, today I want us to have an honest conversation about mental health in Black communities. But before, let's watch these 2 more clips and then get to talking. Subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to leave your comments down below.
People who don't suffer from depression don't understand what it's like to be in your brain. Like, it's not that I don't want to live all the time. It's that when I wake up in the morning, like, I have to have positive thoughts. First thing, like, force myself to have positive thoughts at the start of my day all the way to the end of my day in order to have a decent day. And that could be draining because it was just like, you're so beautiful. You have so much going for you. Like, why are you not happy? And I'm like, I am, but I also battle depression. So my happiness doesn't look the same as yours. And it takes me a lot of energy to get there. And just because aesthetically things are going well, internally you never know what someone is struggling with or what they've been through. I've been through a lot of trauma, so that gets played in my mind when I'm sleeping. So when I wake up, it's not necessarily a refreshing experience. A lot of the times it's like, oh my God, I wish I could go back to sleep for another hour or two, another couple of days, because I'm so exhausted from having to cycle through all the negativity that I have in my mind to get to a positive thought. And what I learned in rehab is that it takes like 10 to 15 positive thoughts to cancel out a negative one. And when you've received a lot of negative feedback or just negativity from other people, imagine how many thoughts you have to put into your mind to then get into a solid place. So even though it's the holiday season, it's time to bring joy to other people, also be mindful that some people are naturally just not there, and it takes us time and energy to get there. So appreciate the fact that we even try and that we do.
So I just read a statistic. It said over 50% of Black men who suffer from depression don't seek out counseling, don't go get help for it. That means half of the people, half of the homies you got, your bros, your brothers, your cousins, whatever, people around you are suffering, including you, including me. It's been times where I've been suffering and I didn't seek no help. I didn't tell nobody. And it made me think, like, I just spoke with the warriors at this mental health panel, about 30 or 40 men, predominantly men of color, who just came because they needed a safe space to learn how to, emotionally process, to learn how to get the trauma out of them, just to cope with life shit. And so many men are suffering in silence because we don't have the tools around us, or we just haven't learned a way to express our emotions or get these emotions out. And it's just crazy to think about, like, we maneuver through this world, bro. And a lot of the people you think are good, a lot of the homies you think are straight, they're not straight. They're suffering in silence. And I'm here to tell you, bro, if you one of those people, even though it's hard, bro, and it makes you seem vulnerable or you feel weak, which is all in your mind, you have to reach out. You have to tap in with somebody. Black men are 4 more times likely to commit than black women, you know, to take their own lives. That's a fact, bro. And a lot of times we're so stuck in our own head with this masculinity and the way we were raised and you can't be weak and men don't cry, that we have brothers and sisters and people around us who we could reach out to that will help us. You know what I'm saying? Who could just lend an ear, sometimes just be a sounding board to get your emotions off, but we hold it in and we harbor it, not knowing that the shit that we harboring causes stress, it causes high cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart disease, all because you holding it in, bro. You have to find a way to get it out. So my message to you is, man, at times when you feel weak or vulnerable, reach out to somebody, bro. Somebody is there for you, bro. You don't have to suffer by yourself. You don't have to suffer in silence.
Welcome back, folks. Mental health isn't just about big breakdowns or crises. It's about how we handle the daily grind. In our communities, we've got this strength that's legendary. We push through, we support each other, we make it happen. But sometimes that strong black narrative can make it hard to admit when we're struggling. I remember a story of a friend. His friend was called Jamal back in the day. He was working jobs to support his family, I think more than 2 jobs. Always the go-to guy for advice. On the outside, he seemed solid, laughing at jokes at cookouts, playing with the kids. But inside, he was dealing with constant anxiety from financial pressures and the weight of being the provider. He didn't talk about it. He started withdrawing, snapping at loved ones, cool in sleep. It took a scare with high blood pressure for him to realize it was his mental health crying out. Reached out to a therapist and slowly things turned around. Jamal's story isn't unique. It's a reminder that ignoring the signs can sneak up on anyone, and it's okay to seek help before it gets overwhelming. That brings me to some real talk on the numbers. According to Mental Health America, about 19.7% of Black and African American adults have experienced a mental health condition in the past year, and 4.7% have dealt with a serious mental illness. But here's the part that hits hard. Only 15.3% of those with a condition actually received mental health treatment. Compare that to higher rates in other groups, and you see the gap. These stats show we are facing real challenges, often amplified by things like discrimination, economic stress, or even generational trauma. It's not about weakness, it's about systems that haven't always supported us, but knowledge like this empowers us to change the narrative. Listen, whether you are a young black woman juggling school and side gigs, a middle-aged black man providing food for your household, or an elder in the community sharing wisdom, your mental health matters. Seriously, to all black men out there, we've been told to man up and bottle it in. But that's not strength, that's a trap. And black women, you're often the backbone carrying everyone's load, plus your own. Don't forget to put yourself first. No matter your age, from teens navigating social media to seniors dealing with isolation, take this seriously. Mental health isn't a luxury. It's essential for living fully, for showing up for our families and dreams. If the Jamal's story teaches us anything, it's that addressing it early can save lives and relationships. So, how do we start? Let's make it simple with a little everyday guide. These are small steps you can weave into your day, no big overhauls, just consistent habits to keep you grounded. First thing in the morning when you wake up, take 5 minutes for gratitude. Grab a journal or just think about 3 things you're thankful for. This shifts your mindset from stress to positivity. Maybe it's your health, a good meal, or a loved one's smile. Then midday, pause during lunch or a break. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Breathe deeply for a minute. Inhale for counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4. It's a quick reset that calms racing thoughts throughout the day. Stay connected, text a friend, call family, or join community group. Isolation feeds negativity, you need to know that. So even a short chat can lift you up. And move your body, a 10-minute walk outside, dancing to your favorite track, whatever feels good for you. In the evening, wind down, limit screens an hour before bed. Read a book, listen to music, or meditate. Reflect on one win from the day, no matter how small it was. If faith is your thing, prayer or affirmations can be very powerful. Don't forget professional help if needed. Apps like Therapy for Black Girls or Black Men, Heal, or hotlines like 988 are there for us. Now, what about spotting the signs? It's key to notice if things are off before they snowball. Watch for changes like constant fatigue, even after rest. That could signal burnout or depression. If you're irritable over small things, withdrawing from people you love, or losing interest in hobbies that used to excite you, pay attention. Trouble sleeping, appetite shifts, or feeling hopeless, these aren't just bad days. If they last more than a couple of weeks, it may be time to talk to someone. Physical signs count too, like headaches or stomach issues without a clear cause. For the youth, things like sudden grade drop or risk taking behavior. For elders, memory lapse is tied to anxiety. The point is, tune into yourself. If something feels wrong, it probably is, and that's okay. Seeking help is a sign of strength. At the end of the day, black communities are resilient, full of joy and innovation despite the odds. By taking mental health seriously, we are honoring that legacy and building a healthier future. We've got the power to break cycles and support each other.
No one talks about the importance of a Black person needing a Black therapist.
It's time I tell my story, and I'm telling this from the perspective of someone who's not coming from the perspective of a client, but I'm telling it from the perspective of a clinician in training. So in 2020, I was getting my master's in counseling in Houston, in a wealthy Houston area, and my clinical supervisor was a white woman. So imagine it's 2020, COVID is jumping, and I'm trying to graduate at the same time and getting my hours, and people aren't coming to therapy. Your girl was stressed. I was having migraines. It was bad. So in my training, I was so stressed. I was struggling. I really needed help. I really needed support. And I would bring that to my clinical supervisor and let her know, like, hey, I need help with this case. I need help with this. I need help with that. And I wasn't getting the support that I needed. And I never understood why until one day we were having a conversation about me wanting to work with Black women and me wanting to do research with Black women and realizing that this is really where my passions are. And she said to me, her response was, who's going to read that? Who's going to read that? No one's going to want to read about Black women. Maybe if you research strong white women in Russia, they may want to, but Black women don't need help. They don't need support. They have real friendships. They go to church. So y'all don't need the help. It all clicked for me then. I wasn't getting the support that I needed. She didn't see Black women as needing help and support. She viewed us as everybody else is viewing us, as strong Black women. And if she's viewing me, a student clinician, somebody that's in training like this, how do you think she was viewing the Black women clients that she had? She also didn't think that Black women wanted to see Black women clinicians, which is also, that's a lie. I'm gonna tell you that now. That's a lie. So I say all this to say this creator is absolutely right. We need Black women and Black people seeing Black people. If there are clients that want to see us, please come. I have openings. I would love to see you. I'm a student clinician now getting my PhD, and I'm researching Black women because yeah, people do want to read that. I am published. People do want to read that, babes. So if you are looking for a clinician, please reach out. I have linked down below the website where you can find me. I am a student clinician at Heal to Hear in Plano, but I also see clients virtually if you are in a SIPAC state. So yeah, this is for all my Black women that want to see Black women therapists. We are out there and we want to see you too, babes.
Arguably, one of the biggest problems that we as Black people have to deal with is the fact that a lot of Black people are still mentally enslaved and they don't even realize it. And what I mean by that is this. Whenever someone presents a new idea or new path to progress or talks about new possibilities for the collective, those who are quick to talk about why it won't work, call it a fantasy, say it's not realistic, give you every social and economic reason as to why it's not possible, tell you that Black people aren't as unified as we used to be, so it just won't work. Those are the people that are still mentally enslaved and don't even realize it. And my thing on it is this. You can't talk about progress and throw in the word impossible as well. It's like oil and water. It don't mix. Also, progress doesn't equal perfection. We all saw Black Panther. Wakanda had its own problems. They had their own internal conflicts as well. But what we can all agree on is that shit is way better than our current circumstances, and that's what it's all about. And for us to get to where we want to be, or to our idea of the promised land, we're going to have to do some shit we ain't never done before. And we're going to have to be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. We're going to have to take a leap of faith. We don't have nothing to lose. We can't keep recycling our old concepts and thinking that's going to get us to where we want to be. We know it won't. We can take old concepts and update them for modern times, but that's exactly what we have to do. We can't copy and paste that shit and think we're going to get the same results like it's 1965, because shit just not going to work. And it's not necessarily about the action. It's about the collective mind shit. Everybody always want to talk about, oh, we don't have this, or we don't have that. Well, let's focus on what we do have. Let's start there. We are the smartest people on this fucking planet, bro. Yet it's so hard for us to really believe in that we can have better. We owe it to ourselves to believe in that shit. We need to be open to that. Being black means to be a visionary. We wouldn't be to where we are today without it.
If this resonates with you in any way, try one of these steps today. Thank you for watching and being part of this conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's one way you check in on your mental health? Hit like and subscribe to get more talks like this. Take care, everyone. See you in the next.